Yeah, oh, maybe he's listening to her thoughts and she's like, God, she is so off.
That's why he's smiling. He's like, oh, we're fucking cooked. We're so done right now.
Welcome back to the Book Reading Bitch Queens podcast. I'm Allie.
And I'm Sam. This week we're looking at chapters 35 and 36. In chapter 35 is when Feyre has been jumped into the Night Court gang and she wakes up all fucked up and she has a broken nose and a bunch of bruises and swelling. Lucien comes to visit her and they have a little chit chat and he heals her. We get a moment with Amarantha and Rhys makes an appearance, and we then she finds out what Feyre's name is. She gives her the riddle finally, and then in chapter 36 is when we get the first trial, and we fight the middengard wyrm. We don't. She does.
Yeah.
And we get the iconic moment with her first obscene gesture to Rhys and some postulating, some puffed up chestness that she gets with Amarantha afterwards, and some weird Fey-like activity from Feyre.
Yeah.
And then we end with Rhys in a hot seat, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, these chapters are so, I found it almost hard to like kind of take notes because I was just kind of like, now it's like you read them fast because you're like, the story really picks up, I feel like, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also was stuck in a doom spiral today, so my reading was a little off. But I do feel like I found some interesting stuff in chapter 35. I don't really have anything on the first two pages except for taking note that Lucien walks into her.
Yes, I was wondering about that.
He walks into her cell, and I wrote
but winnows when he leaves.
And winnows when he leaves, because I wrote he doesn't winnow in. And like, okay, so like that's cool. Like maybe it's only a Rhys thing for a moment, but then he winnows out. So I was like,
yeah, I was wondering about that.
Interesting. So that's all I have for the first page, is just noting that he like physically walks through the door.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I noted that like because we had talked about the blood, the metallic tang and the blood, and here it's just it's actually described as coppery taste.
It's coppering
here,
tasting.
which I was like, and so okay, a copper taste, that's blood. So I don't know, because we had that whole conversation.
I thought about it too. I was like, why is it no longer a metallic tang? Is it because you're not being hit by magical creatures anymore, and like isn't calling to like anymore? You're just spitting up blood, but. Just I didn't make like a full note of it, but it did pause me for a second. I was like, now it's just coppery. It could also be that, you just ended the last page with
you just don't want to repeat
you don't want to repeat that same
fair thing. And also that this is probably the first moments, this feeling right here in these first couple of pages is probably a lot of what shapes her trauma of being afraid of being imprisoned, which is going to be a huge theme in the next book. And so I'm just like, it's just kind of interesting to be like, okay, this is the first moment. This is probably what your brain goes back to when you think about
being trapped,
being under the,
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that was just kind of interesting. Oh, okay. Actually, I had a question about the screaming. Are we supposed to get a sense? Let's see. The screaming is
somewhere not too far off. Screaming began.
Yeah, and I'm like, and then it says like a whip cracked and screaming built, and this is right before Lucien comes in. But I'm like, so I guess maybe it's supposed to be. Part of me was like, oh, do we know what this is? And then other parts of me were like, maybe it's just we're just supposed to get an air of like people are tortured regularly here. Is that what you? Yeah, maybe that's all it is. Okay.
I mean, again, I'm rereading Throne of Glass, so that's a little bit in my immediate, and I was like, it just feels a little bit like right when Selena is captured, she's whipped in Devere, right? That's part of like the sort of everyday regular stuff. And so it could just be a trope that she uses, that like, when you're captured by bad people, that's what happens to you.
But then I was like, who is there someone new that's
I think
oh,
it's
oh,
just
you mean just to okay, yes, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't think that has actually like any connection to
Yeah.
Throne of Glass or anything. But I think it's just right that there are other. I mean, she's not the only person in the dungeons, right? There's going to be plenty of people in those dungeons because Amaranth
Yeah.
is a fucking tyrant, and so you know,
Yeah. She had to
so
wait
it's
a
not
month and a lot
surprising.
of people to torture.
But it also
Yeah.
could just be like psychological warfare, right? That like they're creating these sounds for her to make her more scared. So like the maybe the dungeons are empty and someone's just in there being a fucking menace and
I'd believe it.
yeah, I believe it too. Um
Okay, but yeah, so then we get Lucian comes in, she hears the door scraping, or, anyway, he pops in and yeah, he walks in and
mhm.
because the guards are drunk apparently.
I am very confused by this thing that Lucian says to her.
Okay.
So he asks her if she's all right. She says, "My face." Right, a small light flared by his head, and as his eyes swam into view, the metal one narrowed. "Have you lost your mind? I went back to the manor. Alice told me about the curse, and I couldn't let Amarantha. You shouldn't have come. You weren't meant to be here. Do you understand what he sacrificed to get you out?" And I wrote, "No, please tell us."
Well, I guess he just means like he sacrificed everything to let you go.
I, he sacrificed nothing that he wouldn't have sacrificed anyways. Like what?
Yeah.
What did he sacrifice in getting you out?
The
What
last chance, essentially.
what did that
Especially as
cost
Lucian
him?
probably sees it as Feyre was the last chance, and he just threw it away because he's like, "Gotta keep her safe," and Lucian was probably like, "Let's not do that." God, he must be so pissed right now too.
Well, that or does he see it as like him coming under the mountain is the sacrifice to get Feyre out?
Yes, yeah.
Like that's how he's seeing it. Is that
Or
like
just
like
just
he
not keeping her around by making her leave, he's fully giving up on breaking the curse, and and Lucian's saying that's a sacrifice, but we just are suspicious of
that's
it
not
being
a
a sacrifice.
sacrifice though. That's what was going to
Yeah.
happen anyways because he didn't do anything for 50 fucking years.
Yeah, well, I think Lucian was like, "Oh, the sacrifice is that he wasn't gonna keep trying it because it would risk your safety." But Lucian clearly disagreed with it. He spat at Tamlin in
Yeah.
that scene. So,
I'm like,
yeah,
I just don't want, and like, I don't know, Lucian, you tell me, what did he sacrifice? What
yeah,
did he do? Did he nothing? It was going to be the same no matter what because I wasn't going to say I love you. Like, okay, what's the difference that I get killed and he gets taken here versus I didn't get killed? And that's not a sacrifice.
yeah.
But whatever.
And she's like, "Oh,
Um,
I just had to see if I could say I love you and it would still work." I was like, "Girl, that's not how it works."
yeah,
I think it's the first time she says that too. I don't know if she said that before, but
we don't. Do we ever actually see healing happen in ACOTAR like we do in Throne of Glass,
do we see
or even in Crescent City?
Maja do we see her working on the healer lady working on Cassian's wings maybe?
I don't. I don't remember
Maybe
that.
not. Maybe they take him somewhere else. I'm trying to think also.
Because
Let's
she
see.
passes out when he heals her and we don't get to see what the healing looks like.
Oh yeah.
Right, she says do it right now, and before I could wallow in my cowardice and tell him to forget all about it, he hesitated. Now I panted, too swift for me to follow. His fingers latched onto my nose, pain lanced through me, and a crack burst through my ears, my head, before I fainted. When I came to, I could open both of my eyes fully, and my nose was clear, and it didn't throb or send agony splintering through my face. And he says, "I couldn't heal you completely. That would like show that someone had helped you."
Gotta make
But
you
we
look
don't get
fucked
to
up.
see like, do his hands light up when it happens like it does in Throne of
I
Glass?
know. Is
Like,
it day court magic?
well, that or even just that's what day court magic is, right? Isn't it healing?
Well, he gets like knowledge or something.
Or
Well,
he
no,
also
maybe it
does
is
like he does
healing.
wards. He can break wards, can't he?
Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But no, but like in
Uh.
Throne of Glass, when the healers work, like when Irene
Hmm.
works, like her hands light up, right?
Yeah. Although I think
And
she
even
is
when
a
like,
special kind of healer too. Maybe.
but even when like when Adian's dad, can't remember his name right now.
Gabrielle.
Thank you, and Gavriel and Rowan heal, same thing. Their hands light up.
Yeah, I feel like I don't see a lot
But
of
I don't see.
healing.
I
At
don't
least
think that
heals
Lorcan can
Feyre.
heal though. Can Lorcan heal like that too?
I think no, I think we talked about before that maybe like I think a lot of people in Throne of Glass can just kind of do rudimentary healing
Yeah.
maybe, but and then we'd see some of that. Rhys heals her as well,
Mhm.
and Lucien heals her. I'm trying to think of other people who
But, like,
heal.
I don't think we ever see the healing.
Yeah.
Not like when, like, there's a moment, I think it's on a boat on one of the ships where, like, Gabrielle is holding somebody. I don't know if it's Adian or if it's somebody else, and she says, like, she sees his hands, like, lighting up and he's healing, or, like, they, like, he moves over
Mm.
her arm or somebody's arms and she can watch it heal and it's all lit up or whatever. We
Yeah,
don't
I wonder
see
why
that,
she is
and
choosing not to depict that.
weird.
It does seem weird.
Um,
Maybe we see it when Rhys says it. Maybe. Um,
Also, what the fuck is this little light that bobs over his shoulder that means magic? What is that?
I think that's just like summoned a little lamp for myself, which that kind of fits. Like if he's autumn, he should have some fire. So maybe just summon like an orb of fire. What book am I thinking of where people have that kind of little? I think I'm actually thinking of Broadbent. Or there's probably a bunch of them that where someone
Mhm.
summons a little light, but yeah, that part I was less suspicious of because that seemed like he probably just has some autumn court fire.
But he says, but it's supposed. It just was like I thought she'd taken most of your power. He said, I'd managed to say. I barely seemed to handle any magic while we were at the
Oh,
estate. He nodded to the little light bobbing over his shoulder. She gave me back a fraction to entice Tamlin to accept her offer, but he still refuses her.
why would
Like,
he?
what
Why
is?
would giving him magic do anything?
Not only that, but like, he nodded to bob a little light bobbing over his shoulder. Like, what is he fucking? Is he Link from Zelda? Like,
Yeah, well, no, it's he summons it on the page before when she's like can't see it, and it says a small light flared by his head, top of 306. Small
yeah,
light flared by his head, and his eyes seemed to view. So that's what he's talking about. But I think it's just a little orb of fire. That's what I pictured it
okay,
as. And that seemed normal to me
all
because
right.
of
Well, and putting it together with I underlined the small light flared by his head, but I didn't have any notes for it, but I did underline it, so maybe that's what it is, that he has like a little
mhm.
suspended torch or something. Link does have something that follows around his head, right? I'm not
Who?
crazy. Link from Zelda does
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
little.
yeah. He is
Okay,
Navi.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm relevant.
Uh,
Sort of.
um, I I to me that part reads is just like she needed someone to heal Feyre, and she just needed it reads as exposition. It doesn't even read
Yeah.
as like, but maybe I don't know. Um,
I knew some good would come from being down here. What, that he gets some of his magic back?
yes. Okay, sorry. At the same moment, I just okay, really quick. Let's just rewind for 1 second. When Rhys heals her on page 335,
Hmm.
um, she makes the deal, and then it says. He grabbed my arm. There was a blinding, quick pain, and my scream sounded in my ears as bones and flesh were shattered. Blood rushed out of me, and then she faints again. Actually, so we do see a little bit of the healing, but she does faint again, and we
Hmm.
don't see any mention of light. Although maybe we wouldn't if it was Rhys.
Yeah.
But so anyway, just to sort of close that loop because I had started looking it up. But okay, yes. Why? Let me.
Like, I'm just trying to think of what he's saying is good, right? He's telling her that she shouldn't have come. He heals her. He says, I got a little bit of my magic back. And he goes, I knew some good would come from being down here.
Yeah, that I just was like, what the?
That,
What are you
what does
talking
that
about?
mean?
Like, that you can heal her? I think it's like a little joke about, "Oh, I kept you pretty, and isn't that a good thing? Ha ha." Like, and I'm like, "No, she's gonna die."
Well, and it's like,
Uh,
yeah, so maybe he's like, maybe some
he's
good.
trying to keep it lighthearted.
I'm thinking largely like some good would have come
Yes.
from coming down here, meaning under the mountain in general. But yeah, maybe he meant just coming to like her tombs or to the
Oh, no,
to.
no, I meant, under the mountain in general, but maybe it's like a stupid ass joke like that, like, "The whole point of me coming under here was so I could heal your face."
Yeah,
Like, or
your
like, I don't
nose
know,
is
but
straight and pert again. You're fine. Yeah,
I
weird.
still don't get why she would give him some of his power. It doesn't really make any sense, but I'll just kind of get that. But I do also think it seems weird for him to even joke that it's like a,
I mean,
I mean, maybe he's just glad he can help Mira.
I
I don't
mean,
know. I'd be
if
pissed if I was him.
Tamlin is her mate and she's really that desperate to be with him, I could see her giving his friend some power back. But that's the only reason I see for that. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense.
And also, I'm like, under what circumstances did he go? Um, Miss, can I get some power back? Maybe Tamlin will like.
Yeah.
I don't know if anything, he would torture Lucian to make Tamlin more susceptible.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, okay, so your friend can do magic and now you're like, I'm hot for you, babe. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. It's
I
very
don't.
strange.
But yeah, the I some good line seems weird to me. Um, except maybe as a very dark joke.
I think that there is on the next page when he's talking about Jurian and Amarantha, and it says they wrecked the entire
Yeah,
battlefield using their soldiers as shields until their forces were all nearly dead. I think this paints a picture of like the cowardice of both of them, of Jurian and Amarantha in the
yeah,
moment
they're
of
just sacrificing all their
yeah,
people.
like they could have just one on one it.
Yeah,
Neither one of them were willing to do that. And I can see Jurian maybe not doing that because he doesn't have the power that she has. Because Claire's like, once it was one on one, like she rendered him prone very simply. But like,
yeah.
it also shows the ways in which a feud between two people who have power
Hmm.
cause a lot of destruction
Yeah.
and cost a lot of lives when it could have just been from the beginning. Work it out, y'all.
Well, and I get even her rage, like, your sister's dead, like, sure, like, there's like, but it's like, I don't know, like, it's just crazy to like
Hmm.
take it that far.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, it's one thing to kill the one person, but like, what are you killing thousands of people to get to that one person? Like,
Yep.
and I guess that's what makes her a villain, but it
But
also
then
makes me
wouldn't
be
it?
like,
But
well, what
wouldn't that
about
also?
Jurian? But
Yeah.
maybe
But then
his people wouldn't let him go forward or something. Like maybe they were just saying, nope, you stay back here. But also, if he commands them, how is they can't
Yeah.
tell?
Yeah.
I don't
No.
know,
Yep.
So
Well, that's when you start conflating personal vendettas and grudges with reasons for war,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Oh,
Which is like
and
we're gonna go to war because of this personal vendetta, and I get like the reason why he did the thing was because of war. So like it's complicated,
yeah.
but
Well, and they were
it's
already
not
in
great. It
war, but
feels like there's
it's
a cowardice
mm,
on both sides for them doing that.
definitely. Yeah, I mean, you kind of forget about this too by the time you see Jurian, and like even I'm like, oh yeah, Jurian's kind of fine, and then I'm like seeing that I'm like, yeah, actually, what were you doing? That's
Hmm.
gross. Um, uh, but
But that's what lost the war,
that's what I was saying. I was like, so Amarantha. Also, why isn't Hybern way more pissed at Amarantha? If I'm
right?
Hybern, I'm killing her on the spot. I'm going after I lose the war. I'm gonna be like, let's go get that bitch and let's kill her. Like, talk about a vendetta. Why isn't he?
Which is why he would be the perfect person to ally with against her.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
and that's probably why Lucian is so pissed because if he is meeting with Hybern and has forged this alliance or
Mhm,
the beginnings of it, then he's like he it was so easy. He already wanted to kill her. Like I didn't even have to
mhm,
convince him. He was like she fucked me over. I lost the war. I want this. It's
yeah,
such an easy target to be like, "Hey Hybern, want to go do this?" Hybern would have he should have been all over it.
yeah,
And the fact that
yeah.
we
Oh,
don't know why he wasn't is very like what?
yeah,
Or that the fact that it's not discussed as it having been an option to fight against her.
yeah.
That they're
Do
just
you
like,
think
well,
she just
there's
lied to him and said, "Oh no, that wasn't I was trapped. I couldn't bring my troops because I like or do you but it seems like Lucian knows the truth, but is that just because he was on a side with a different
I mean, it
narrative?
says
Like,
she refused to do anything until she'd finished Jurian's demise. So it sounds
yeah,
like
it
it
does
was
sound like a well-known fact, but
yeah.
I'm just like she still spent what, like 400 years after that with Hybern in his land being like, you know,
Mhm.
there's all that time for him to kill her in that time and I'm like,
Yep.
so maybe she was trying to worm his way back in his good graces, and maybe then she volunteered to go to Prithian when he needed someone to do that, and he was like, "Great, I'll get rid of you."
Yeah,
So
maybe.
maybe that's she was weaseling that whole time. But the thing that caught me up, besides okay, that part was like I was like, "Wait, what the heck?" But then also, yeah. So she talks about Amarantha. All that she kept was his finger and finger bone and his eye, and then he said, Clythia promised him that he would never die, and so long as Amarantha keeps that part of his eye preserved through her magic, he keeps his soul and consciousness bound to it. He'll remain trapped watching through it. Who the fuck is Clythia? That is she a seer or is she somebody who can make somebody immortal? Like, did you think that was weird at all? Because
I
I'm like,
mean, yeah, cuz like
what is keeping him alive?
Because that's Amarantha's sister, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what is Amarantha? That's what her sister's
Do you
doing.
think she offered him Fatum?
Well, I think we know it's not like something that people can do easily, you know? Like that all 7 High Lords can do it or the cauldron itself can do it. Do we know any other ways that people were made? No, did Amryn make herself?
Mhm.
But she's also from like
Yeah, she's
another
from another
fucking
thing.
dimension.
Yeah.
Maybe she has X. That's a part of why she's so overpowered here is because it's like out of proportion to this world, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe she's an exception too. But I'm just like, no, maybe okay, maybe Clythia was a seer and
Maybe.
she just knew you're not gonna die or whatever. And so she told Jurian that and then Amarantha, like, sort of fulfills the prophecy by using her own magic to keep Jurian trapped in the ring, and that's so it's, like, more of a self-fulfilling prophecy type thing. Um, Otherwise, I'm like, "Okay, what kind of power does she possibly have to give that to Jurian so that he can never die?"
Yeah, I
Because
don't know.
that I mean, we already think Amarantha's a witch, and I'm like, that sounds like some I don't know about specifically which powers, but it just sounds like somebody having too much power that they took
Yes.
from
I'm wondering
somewhere.
if she has a
A wiki?
no, if there's like a I was just trying to see if there was like a real world mythological. It sounds like
Mm.
Clotho to me, which is one of the fates, but and one of the fates is has sight of like
Isn't there a Clotho in don't we know a Clotho in ACOTAR?
yeah, I think that's the name of the librarian, right? The stern
Yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That's a fate? That's the name of a fate card?
It's one of the fates. I think it's the one that knows how long someone will live for.
Interesting.
Hmm. I like that he addresses that she did not do that with his own eye. Where he says, "I'm glad she didn't do the same to me.
Yes.
She seems to be into that kind of shit."
Well, where is his eye? It was just destroyed?
I don't know,
Because I'm like, maybe she does have his eye.
right?
He just doesn't know, and it's like he's gonna die, and then she's gonna wake up in some ring in Amarantha's
Right?
closet. Dude, but yeah, I mean, I assumed his eye was just like,
Destroyed. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it does say it was plucked out, but yeah,
well, then I'm like, where is it?
yeah,
Also, I just wanted to note that the High Lords are they I guess they weren't under here. They are now under here
yeah,
altogether,
yeah.
which, you know,
Very strange, but yeah.
gathering, it's we just had a gathering of
I'm
generals.
like,
Just kidding.
so
I'll cut
then,
that part.
just where were they? Just in their
They were
own.
just in their courts, I guess. Maybe some of them were allowed to be in their
Yeah,
courts. I think
and
summer court because and winter court maybe because they had outbursts were under there before
hmm
and then maybe other ones didn't.
when she
But
asks,
yeah.
"Is Tamlin?" and he says, "He's." Is Tamlin what? Is he what? He's what? What are these questions? What are these M dashes? Stop with the M dash.
I know she even wonders later. She's like, "What was he gonna say about what Tamlin was
Hmm.
doing?" Because yeah, it's funny. She is sort of immediately what is it called?
Skeptical?
Skeptical, suspicious of
Suspicious?
Tamlin of in his silence. Like
Hmm.
the entire time, she is like, "Why is he doing this?" And
Hmm.
honestly, it never makes that much sense.
No, it doesn't.
Do we ever get like an actual reason that he says, "I had to be silent"? I mean, the impression we get is that he thinks that it's gonna save
I
her.
think there's
I feel like
somewhere.
she
I think
thinks
there's
that.
somewhere
She
in the
thinks.
second book where they talk about like how he keeps like sleeping at the foot of her bed in his dog form. That he's just like, I couldn't do anything to protect you, and I feel like
Mm,
I'm on edge, and it's my PTSD that's making me be in my beast form or whatever. But I don't think we ever
okay.
get an actual like, I'm sorry I didn't do more, or I felt like I couldn't, or I thought that my silence was going to be helpful, or anything like that.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
Lucian winnows away.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm like, what's to stop if you can winnow now this is kind of like my Harry Potter rules are coming. I'm like, you can winnow around under the mountain. What's to stop people from winnowing inside under the mountain,
Hmm.
right? Or
Hmm.
maybe it doesn't work like that. Maybe if you're in there, you can winnow
Yeah, it's like the
throughout it.
Hogwarts rule where you can't like
You can't go in and
you can't
out. Yeah.
apparate in and out.
Because I'm just like, it seems like a weird
Yeah.
loophole. But maybe because I think when Lucian found her at Calamni, I think you said he winnowed, but I had thought he was just running fast, like he had like
Mhm.
ultra speed or something. So maybe he just went really fast, but it
Yeah,
does seem like
I
he
don't
winnowed.
yeah, I don't know. And so then I don't know if winnowing is part of the powers that he gets back or if he's had that ability to winnow.
Yeah,
Not
I don't. Yeah.
sure. Um,
Also, I noticed that Amarantha keeps being described as serpentine,
mhm.
which maybe that's just we're just doing regular. That sounds evil, so that's why. But
Yeah.
it's just something to note.
Everyone was clad in rich, colorful clothing and they all seemed clean and fed. It's an interesting thing to note for people who are being oppressed underneath a mountain by a tyrannical regime.
Which where is that exactly?
Middle of 309, it starts with the paragraph that says, "A crowd of fairies stood along a
Uh,
far wall. Over their heads, I could make out the arch of a doorway or a portal. I tried not to look up at Claire's rotting body as we passed and instead focused on the assembled court. Everyone was clad in rich, colorful clothing. All of them seemed clean and fed.
yeah.
And dispersed
Yeah, that
among
does
them were
seem
like,
weird.
yeah, it's just,
Maybe these are just the evil ones that are like pro
I mean,
Amarantha.
dispersed among them were fairies with masks, the spring court.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
they're all clean and fed.
Seems
It's a weird,
weird.
it's a weird position to be in.
Yeah, I also thought like in this section, she talks about wait, is it? Maybe it's in the next chapter. She talks about like their leering faces and stuff. And I'm like,
She always keeps referring to them as fairies. Like all the fairies had leering faces. They have
uh-huh,
green faces and frost blue fairy faces. So like these are like the lesser fairies, I guess, that are
uh-huh.
there. And then I'm like, okay, well, what level of lesser fairy is considered too less? Because Alice wasn't wanted.
Yeah, because
It's
Amarantha didn't
just a
really want.
weird, yeah,
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I assume they're just kind of like people who are noble,
yeah.
ish, at least noble enough or
Or maybe
something.
have a bit of magic. I mean, I don't think that Alice really. I mean, we don't ever see Alice do magic stuff, do we?
I don't know, actually. Yeah, I assume she does have some magic, but I just don't know with what. That is interesting. Um, yeah. Okay, and then do you think it was weird that Amarantha said she couldn't sleep?
A little bit,
Because she didn't know her name?
a little bit.
I was like, I mean, I think maybe she's just saying it. It just sounds kind of scary. Like I don't. It just
I was
sounds
up all
like
night
someone playing
thinking
with.
of what was wrong, and I realized I don't know your name. You're like, okay,
Yeah, it's kind of unnerving. Yeah.
yeah.
And then also there was something charming and inviting about her.
Hmm.
A part of me began to understand why the High Lords had fallen under her thrall, believed in her lies. I hated her for it. That's one of the only times she's described like that from Feyre, right?
Yeah, that she's a little bit charismatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think there's anything to that?
No, I think it's supposed to add to
Be
the
more
readers of like, well,
tension.
how did she get like she's got enemies everywhere and they're just gonna welcome her back in? Like that doesn't make any sense. You're like, oh well, she's charismatic, so and 400 years to do that, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, did you notice that Rhysand wraps around her before he's announced?
Yes. Okay, so Amarantha asked her for her name, and then she says, after all, you've already learned the consequences of giving false names. Then immediately, right after that in the same paragraph, a black cloud wrapped around me as I sensed Claire's nailed form on the wall behind me. Still I kept my mouth shut. Restand, Amarantha said, not needing to raise her voice to summon him. And then he comes up and stands next to her. It's one of those things that you kind of pointed out before. Yeah, basically, Rhysand just comes up, stands right next to her. But I thought it was interesting that it's kind of like you'd pointed something like this out. Like she talks about a black cloud, and then the very next thing that someone else says, so it's like SJM's putting it in proximity, not necessarily Feyre, but it
Hmm.
says a black cloud wrapped around me, and then Rhysand. And so
Hmm.
it's like a weird kind of linking there. But also, so it can't really be a like I assume this is like it's not really a black cloud. Okay, sorry. Too many thoughts. So either Amarantha has some kind of black magic or magic that currently right now looks black, and she is wrapping that around her to scare her. I kind of thought it was more Rhys, but then I was like, so he can't be doing that in front of people because it'll look friendly, or maybe it's looking scary. So then I was like, maybe it's an illusion just to her. But like, isn't that a weird? Why wouldn't she talk about the black cloud? Is she assuming it's Amarantha's magic? Um, but that was my issue with it. I do like it that the idea that it's Rhys, especially since it's paired with as she sensed Claire's rotting form, she's sort of being comforted. But
Hmm.
maybe it's Amarantha who is using her magic to try and remind her of Claire to scare her. But so yeah, what do you think there?
I think it's Rhys. I think it's Rhys's
Okay.
emotions, and I think that they unleashed for a second.
And you think that the black cloud figurative or in her head, or do you think people can see a black cloud wrapping around her? Because if it's Reese, it has to be, unless it's blanketing the whole room. Well, no, that would be a giveaway too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess a black cloud wrapping around you could be a feeling and
Yeah,
not.
because that's a great case for Reese, but it seems like she describes it as black. If she had said a dark cloud, I might have thought that's figurative. But she says black, which makes me think
I'm thinking it
she's
maybe
seeing
he
it,
actually wrapped a black cloud around her.
and no one would say anything. Like,
Like imagine, I mean, I don't know, he's this whole scene is a little sus
uh huh,
because so imagine that he doesn't know she's there and this is the first time he's seeing her in the court where he knows that there's a connection. He has to get her out. I scared Tamlin. He sent her away. Then she gave me a fake name, so I get that fake name, and fuck, that fake name turned out to be this chick. And so when he sees Feyre, his emotions latch out to her like, "Oh my god, why are you here?" And he
and
thinks,
guilt and
"I
stuff.
had a way to get you out. They thought you were Claire. Like
Yeah,
you could have been safe." So like maybe that's her feeling Claire nailed behind her that like it's also Rhys being like, I don't want you to be that.
yeah, but yeah,
But then he walks up from behind her. So like, the black cloud around her happens technically before he's next to her. So you can't even like blame it on just being like proximity.
yeah. So the only issue I would have is that it would draw attention, and if it's supposed to be physical and nobody reacts to it, I think that's like kind of a writing issue.
Yeah,
So then part of me is like maybe it is just Amarantha using her magic to try and make her look at it or something. Which
maybe.
is less fun, but also or it could have just been like, uh, drawing attention to and being like, I don't know, like people should gasp or react to it or something. Or
Yeah.
it should just be clearly figurative. Like I felt as if a black that could literally change the whole thing. I felt as if a black cloud
I mean that or he
wrapped
knew that
around
he was
me.
going to be called up anyways and it's like making his presence known and being a little ominous about it, right? Like he
Yeah,
can,
yeah, maybe he's
you know, he could
yeah.
hear thoughts. I'm sure he can still hear. He hears Amarantha's thoughts, even though she protects
Well,
against
does
him.
she have her shields up?
Yeah, but I think she has her shields up against like an attack from him. But I don't know that he can't hear her thoughts.
Oh, I thought if you have your shields up, then you're
Yeah, I
impervious
don't
to like
know.
anybody. But yeah, so I guess either way, it's still even if it is Amarantha's magic, it still puts the idea of like that presence sort of it could still sort of count as like a clue to Reese, I think still
Yeah,
because it's like kind of interesting.
but it can also
Um,
just be her awareness of magical power because later on she says when she notices that the High Lords are there, I think it's in the next chapter, she's like, the echo of their power. I'm like, what does that mean? You're hearing their power? You feel their power? What is like,
yeah,
and there's something about her that has like, a sixth sense to be able to feel magic and like maybe
yeah.
that's just
And
what
maybe
you're.
everyone does
Yeah,
that.
maybe
Like
all humans can do
Lucien
that
does say
that
like he's a High Lord, he's different. So maybe it's like yeah, maybe you can sense it, but maybe it's not.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Also, there's a moment, I don't want to go on a huge tangent, but there's a moment in Throne of Glass where when Selena figures out about the word keys,
Mm.
um, Baba Yellowlegs tells her, like, the word gate is power. And I was like, the High Lords are power.
Are the High Lords word keys?
Or, I don't know. But, like, from the same magic, right? Because the word gate
Wait,
is.
if the High Lords are word keys, then Feyre's a gate.
Hmm.
Sorry, what I cut you off. What were you saying?
Is that a sex joke?
No. But you put the keys together and you make a gate, and they all
Oh,
gave Feyre enough of
yeah.
her power.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were
But then
yeah.
Reese would be too.
It's choice phrasing to say that word keys are power and that High Lords are power.
Hmm.
Hmm. That is weird. But
And I'm
yeah,
like
that would
I'm like,
kind of
well,
make
maybe the magic
and
comes from
Reese
the same
gates.
place, right? Because like word is Erd, is the cauldron, is the mother, right? All of that power
Mhm.
comes from the same place. And so you're like, well, okay, so it's just is all magic, like it's all cauldron born magic, right? The High Lords are cauldron born magic.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was really That's pretty
That is
interesting to
I
say that
like that.
the word keys are power.
I like that because I love, diction
She
theory.
would absolutely be a gate.
But you're right about Rhys. Rhys would also be a gate, and by the way, 2 gates, isn't that like a portal?
Yep.
Like, don't you 1
Mhm.
gate in one place, 1 gate in another, and now we've got a portal.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so
And not
because
to mention that the life bond that they have could be a world walking bond.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
because okay, because Kill he when he read Akawar, he was fucking pissed. He thought that Rhys dying was the stupidest thing
Yep.
ever. He was
Yep.
just not here for that plot point,
Well,
and he
yeah,
was
because
like,
he
"What?
just wakes
This is
up and
so
he's like,
silly."
yeah.
And I was my argument, we used to get into these long conversations about it because he's very opinionated. And my argument was always like, okay, but it does seem like she wanted to have both Rhys and Feyre on this equal level of both having this thing. And I think I've always thought that it's going to come back into play that what we just think, oh, Rhys just had to be revived and that was the way to do it, is actually going to come back and save the day at the end of the series. And the idea of them forming a gate to like
That's a new theory. That's a new theory then. Here we go. This I've not heard this theory.
me, yeah,
So yeah, I'll pull up the I'll give I will find the actual quote. But yeah, it's during Baba Yellowlegs and she says they are power.
so weird Ks are described as powered by Baba Yellow Legs.
Mhm.
High Lords are described as powered by Lucian or by the Serial.
By Lucien, the Serial, and Alice.
Oh, all of them say that?
I think so. I think Alice says the High Lords
Okay.
are power.
So if word keys are power and the High Lords are power and weird keys form a weird gate or are keys to the word gate, that makes Feyre and Rhys are 2 gates.
Hmm?
Portal question mark? Dude, that is so interesting. I like how you're
Mhm.
like little side piece and I was like, "No, bro, let's run with this." That is actually I love that. If nothing else, it's a fun crackpot
It
theory.
is a fun crackpot theory. Yeah, yeah, wild. Night.
Okay, that was fun.
Yeah, I underlined night seemed to ripple off of him like some near invisible cloak, but
Yes, very
I mean,
classic
yeah,
description. Okay, I also noted, my when Reese comes to sit next to her, Amarantha summons him, and it said, "My heart became a leaden weight as those casual strolling steps sounded from behind. They stopped when they were beside me, far too close for my liking." As nowhere in this point does she ever talk any. It's funny because Tamlin's physical contact with her is constantly described as gross, a brand on my skin, or like really harsh words.
shackles. Yeah.
And here, none of that. If anything, the closest thing is my heart became a leaden weight,
Hmm.
but that could just be like, your heart's feeling something. It doesn't say it was painful.
Hmm.
It says not for my liking, but we also know that she doesn't like that feeling of like whatever, like this, like in
Yeah.
the Reese chapter when he's there, she's like uncomfortable with like her feelings. And so
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted to note that like
It's like a
that's not very
nervousness or
negative.
giddiness when you have a crush. You're just like,
Yeah,
this
and
is
you're like, God,
uncomfortable, kind of a thing. But yeah, but it's not used in terms of there's no there's nothing that's grotesque or repulsive
no.
about it.
It's
And there's no
very
prison
tame.
imagery.
None at all. And also he's standing beside her is kind of an interesting like, if he's comforting her with the black cloud wrapping around her, standing beside her, sort of on a figurative metaphorical level, like someone who stands with you and goes through life with you. It's, I don't know.
He
This is kind of an
stands next to her
interesting.
when Tamlin won't.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, this isn't fair in this circumstance because Tamlin, whatever. Well, maybe it is, but anyway, it's an
Yeah.
interesting, and I love the little moments like that. Okay, but sorry, what were you saying? Or
I wrote that's an awfully racist thing to say, resand. Humans all look alike to me.
yeah,
So that's not great, bud. That's racist. Quite
yep,
literally, because they are a whole actual different
yeah,
race than you, not just,
yep,
yeah.
and
But then here's the thing. She says, humans all look alike. I didn't believe him for a second. And I said, so why do you think he's lying?
I just think she knows him. That's her mate bond, just being like, I
But
can sense your bullshit a
that's what I'm
mile away.
saying. But that doesn't raise suspicions that he's not bad.
Yeah, well,
Or maybe she thinks he's just trying to cover his ass. But like,
yeah, I think she thinks that, oh, for some reason this slime ball is in trouble and he's not good. He's not a good liar, maybe. Um, So it's sort of like she's laughing at his demise maybe a little bit. But I do think it is telling. It's such
I still think it's really strange that they keep calling her fairies. Like they keep calling her a fairy. They don't call this is she doesn't call Tamlin fairy, right? It's Fae. The High Lords are Fae.
She
Why is
does
she
sometimes, but she often I think I don't know if she ever says fae. I think she either says fairies or high fae. I'm trying to think if she just calls them fae. I think later in the books maybe.
Okay.
It kind of reminds me of like when you're kind of still like when a character's like not very used to like a place. I feel
Mhm.
like they sometimes call things more formally, you know?
Mhm.
Like in the first Harry Potter book, Harry often refers to it's a magic wand. And then he drops that as
Yeah.
books go on, but it kind of reminds me of that like you're not used to the world so you're using these like terms. So it could be like that, or I don't know. It is kind of interesting. I was really jarred by the fairy queen too. Like I was like, what are
Well, and then
these?
Amarantha says, "What about fairies?" And he goes, "Among the sea of mundane faces, yours is a work of art."
Which, by the way, I will say, when Pharaoh notices he's lying, it's not after he says humans all look alike. He says humans all look alike. Amarantha's like, "What about fairies?" He gives her the line, and that's when she's like, "He's full of shit." It's like when he
Yeah.
pays her a compliment, she's flagging it as like, and it's like, okay, if you wanted him to laugh at just the line about humans looking alike, you should have put that in a different order. But it seems like a choice to put it after his compliment to her. It's almost like she knows that that's bullshit,
Yeah.
and I think she does sort of
Mhm.
without realizing that she
Yeah,
does,
especially
but
because, like, had I not been straddling the line between life and death, I might have snorted. And we're supposed to think, like, because she thinks he's being, like, because she thinks not that he's being insincere, right? So the initial reading is like, he's being sincere, and she's just like, Jesus Christ, that's the worst pickup line I've ever heard, kind of a thing. But
mhm,
I think it's more of what you're doing, where she's already seeing that, like, that's he's
that
just
doesn't add
he's
up.
just blowing smoke up her ass. And then also, like, I don't believe him. All this whole thing, I don't believe.
Yeah, and, yeah, he knew exactly how he looked, and, yeah, but I think a lot of this chapter is also her, like, she keeps at the end, she's like, "What was that thing about immediately?" And then
Yeah.
she's like, "I can't think about that right now."
Yeah, she does do a lot of that.
So,
Um,
but yeah.
I want to know why she didn't have Rhys just go back into her head. She brings Lucian out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, does it already show a distrust between Amarantha and Rhys? Because she could have been
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
cool, give me her name. Go in there. Fish it out. But she doesn't. She pulls Lucian forward for him to go through Lucian's brain.
Mhm.
And he still doesn't get the name. Feyre is the one who offers it up because she's worried of what he's going to do to Lucian's brain.
Yeah. Well, and hold on one second. So, oh yeah, she asks Reese. He doesn't tell her. Then she brings illusion, or is there something else? Oh, she asked Tamlin as well.
Yeah.
She
Yeah, because she says, "What's her name?" He says, "How would I know? She lied to me. Either toying with Amarantha was a joke to him, as much of a joke as impaling a head in Tamlin's garden, or it was just more it was just more court scheming."
yeah, she's sensing his bullshit every single time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, she thought he was gonna search her mind, and then he doesn't. And I guess the reason that she doesn't have Reese do it is because she said she's gonna do it the fun way. But
Would it not be fun to just watch him go through her mind too? Would that not be fun?
you know, I
But okay.
yeah, I think she just means torturing, people you care about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then yeah, hold on. We also get our first Eris
Mm-hmm.
and all the
Mm-hmm.
autumn. Like he definitely is the eldest one that we're sort of
Yeah.
recognizing. Um, the Scowler.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, actually, can we back up just a second? Did you think it was weird that Amarantha like kind of cues up Reese to compliment her? Like he's like humans all look alike, and then she's like, it's like she turns it back on him. And she's like, and what about fairies? It's like she's suspicious of him too.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And then he feeds her some line, but like we actually don't know what her reaction is to that. It doesn't talk about if she goes, yeah, we don't know what her reaction to Reese's
Uh-uh.
line, but it seems like weird that she's like, give me a compliment, dear. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
kind
know.
of.
Like I was like, why are
Like, show your
you like that?
loyalty again. Like,
Yeah.
because I don't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, she asked Lucian, he doesn't give it. Reese, Lucian, Tamlin is who she asks. Um
I wonder if Lucien is actually not fucking with Lucian's mind right now. Like, he's not hurting him. He's just like, I need you to stiffen. Act like this
Yeah.
hurts.
Well, that's what I wanna talk about. So, it says that, she says, "Hold his mind," and then she asks her name emissary, and Lucian only glanced at Tamlin before closing his eyes and squaring his shoulders. Rhys began smiling faintly, and I shuddered at the memory of what those invisible claws had felt like as they gripped my mind. Um, why is Rhys smiling? He clearly has to think that he has to make okay, does he have to make Lucian think that he's his enemy now? They're under the mountain together. Maybe. Why? Maybe they're chatting.
Right?
I don't know. Like, but he's
I mean, I
smiling,
think
so is
Lucien doesn't, I don't think Lucien trusts him.
yeah, true. So
So I
maybe
don't think,
he's
and I don't think that Rhys would gamble an alliance with
no.
Lucien at this point.
Okay, fair. But I do think the smile is maybe that he won't give Lucian's not giving maybe in his mind he hears Lucian being like, "Fuck you, I'm not giving her a name." And
Probably.
he's like,
Lucian's probably,
"That's attaboy."
yeah, Lucian's probably saying some fucked up shit in his brain right now. That's like, get out of my head, you piece of shit,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
I think that is definitely Reese being grateful to hit Lucian in that case.
yeah. I could
Because
see that.
yeah, the
I
small
can see Lucien having
smile.
the balls to like do that in his head.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, he's even saying stuff to Reese
That, or he
directly,
could
like,
be even just like goading him, where he's just like, "You're gonna keep bowing to this fucking bitch. Like you're such a little puppy. You're such a you know like weak son of a
that
bitch,"
is actually
kind of a
probably
thing.
what he's doing. That's awesome.
Well,
Which
Rhys is probably smiling because he's like, "Really, I'm the one. Really? Like you can think what you
I'm
want to."
sure he's even just like if I'm Reese in the situation, I'm grateful for people who have spirit, who are
Yeah,
like not I'm like, "Hell yeah, Lucian, you're gonna do it. I have to
yeah.
play this part, but you're gonna be part of the chain." Like
Mm-hmm.
that's I don't know. I would find it heartening. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So and then
The
she
brothers
actually
one.
okay, no, she actually also asked the brothers or
Yeah,
imply
she
sort of
does.
imply and they're like, "We would have told you, little brown nosers."
Yeah.
Uh
Oh, there was a moment, page 307.
oh,
When she asks him, this is towards the bottom, she asks Lucian, "So you're trapped under the mountain too?" And he said, "She summoned all the High Lords to her now, and even those who swore obedience are now forbidden to leave until the trials are over." And I said, "Those who swore obedience."
you're wondering which High Lords did?
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
like,
it's definitely Baron.
yep.
Who else? The here? The Night Stormbringers?
Maybe.
Whatever that fucking name is.
Yeah, he's like the fucking one in charge of the Court of Nightmares.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe. But I was just like, that's
I'm
implying
like
that there's alliances. That's not just Rhys.
there be Illyrians here, or were Illyrians just out in their
Oh, I
country
don't
still, but
know.
they liked Amarantha? Because it said that they were dealing with Illyrian warbands who were like not happy that she was gone. So
Mm-hmm.
we should be seeing some Illyrians here, right?
You
Which
would think
also,
so.
why aren't they? What do Illyrians know that Rhys is an Illyrian, right? Or do they find out like after?
I don't know.
Because
Yeah.
if Illyrians are under the mountain, then they're like, "Yay, Rhys! Glad you like this bitch." I don't know.
Yeah, it's strange.
I don't know. And also Illyrians are very I don't know. It feels like
I don't
that
know
could
if they
be
would
like a coup.
follow a queen
Yeah.
though. They're pretty.
Yeah, they're sexist as hell.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe that was Reese's like plan is like to slowly gather people. I don't know. But yeah, we did kind of mention the High Lords very briefly, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I
do think that's an interesting thing.
Going back to 312, I think this moment where Eris looks at her and like so Lucian sagged on the ground trembling. His brothers frowned, the eldest going so far as to bare his teeth at me in a silent snarl. And I said, "Because Lucian wasn't hurt or because Lucian was hurt?" Cuz of like you can look at that two ways where he's snarling
Yeah.
at her like, "You dumb bitch, you said your name. We could have fucking been done with him." Like you should have
Yeah.
let him die because we don't like him, right? Or you should have let like, we had our chance to attack him and you fucking gave her what she wanted, so now we can't go after Lucian. Or a better reading of it, because it's Eris who does it, is that he's
Yeah.
snarling at her because he's like, "You're the reason why he's in this position."
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean,
Because I don't think that Eris is a bad guy.
no, but I'm not ready to fully absolve him of everything. I think he could have but yeah, yeah, maybe he's putting on as much of a show as as Rhys right now, or he at least has to blend in with his evil ass brothers. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, I definitely think
But Eris was the one who got him out when his dad wanted to kill him. So like there's a little
yeah,
bit
maybe
of
he is just a play. He is just acting the whole time.
before that though, when she's talking about Rhys, she must have allowed him more power than the others then if he
Mhm.
could still inflict such harm while leashed to her, or else his power before she'd been stolen had been extraordinary. For this to be considered his the basest remnants. And I'm like, yeah, we're already learning that he's the most powerful High Lord ever in existence, forever and always. So like maybe this is the basis, but also maybe she gives him more power.
Yeah.
The next thing I have is super fucking interesting though.
Oh, you're talking about the name.
The Dave, yes.
Yes. Feyre, Amarantha said, testing my name, the taste of the two syllables on her tongue, an old name from our earliest dialects. That's the part or further?
I said Feyre has an ancient Fey name.
Yeah. No, I'm like, part of me is like, okay, is that just because like you enslaved humans? But also humans don't do holidays because they're remotely Fey, so you would think they wouldn't want Fey names either, but maybe they don't know because it's like that ancient type of.
I mean, her
There's
name
the
is
history's behind it.
Feyre.
Yeah, I know. And it supposedly it means beauty. Um, but also I wonder if it's like humans say it means beauty, but like it has a different meaning in that old Fey
Well,
dialect.
and maybe it does mean beauty because it's a Fey name.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because yeah, Pharaoh like often synonymous with beauty.
But
Um,
yeah, an old name from our earlier dialects. And I just said, you have a magical name.
you do. Yeah,
You have a name that is ancient Fey. You have a name that Aelin would know as someone who
yeah,
knows the funeral dirges in ancient Fey languages. And
yeah.
Rowan would know because he tattoos ancient Fey languages. So yeah, an old name, earlier dialects. I was like, oh, that's something. That's not a throwaway
Yeah.
line. That is something for sure.
It is not. Yeah, I'm excited to see where stuff like that's gonna come through because I'm like,
And then
surely we're gonna.
immediately, like I know that we're supposed to be thinking about her sisters, but immediately she goes, "I'm glad I didn't give her my family name."
Yes, 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 yes. That's right. That's right. That's
So
right.
like I know that we're supposed to be thinking like, "Oh, that then she can't find my sisters," but like,
Maybe we should have been like, oh, Archeron, another ancient Fey name,
yeah, right?
dude. Um, yeah, that is such a tell. That is one of our foundational things, huh? Is this line like
Mhm.
one of the reasons that we've always talked about the name Archeron? Did she say this somewhere else too?
I don't remember. Why did Tamlin do nothing, say nothing? What had Lucian been about to say before he left before he fled the cell? Good questions. All the good questions. And then
Yeah, I was
and
just
yeah.
like, she is suspicious again and again. She's just like question, which makes sense, you know. If she didn't question it, I'd be like, what's wrong with your brain?
Yeah.
But yeah,
I circled immediately because I saw that as a loophole, and then the next page she starts to question that as a loophole, but I saw that
yes,
first.
and
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I hate this riddle. I love the riddle in the sense that when I first read the book, I did not figure out the riddle.
Me neither. Everyone always goes, it's obvious, it's love, but
Yeah, and I've seen like TikToks and stuff where they're like, "Let me read this riddle to you," and like there's one girl who's like, "It's gonna be something stupid like love," and she's like, "Uh huh, yep."
yeah,
But
yeah. I just don't like the idea that the answer is like so like
on the fucking
thematic.
nose
Yeah,
for
just like
yeah,
real. Um, because if anything, like a villain, I feel like a villain would like make a riddle where the the moral is like there is no such thing as love, and there the world's
yeah,
evil.
yeah.
um, but I guess it doesn't. I don't know. It's a little too on the nose. Which yeah, this is probably not a new revolutionary take on that one. Do we need to talk about the riddle at all?
No.
I did note that she says she promised her a riddle, and I was like, promise, but I
Mhm.
don't think it's that much of anything. But sorry, what were you
I
saying?
underlined this. So I blinked as she repeated herself, smiling when she'd finished, smug as a cat. My mind was void, a blank mass of uselessness. Could it be some sort of disease? And then this is what I underlined. My mother died of typhus, and her cousin had died of malaria after going to Bharat.
Bharat. She After going to look for those ships.
But also, Bharat is on the continent. So now, not only do we know that her dad has gone to the continent, but her mother's cousin has also gone to the continent.
Hmm.
Also, this is really, I'm going to critique SJM for a second here. Bharat in this book is only described as the place that the ship sank, right? As a land of spices and cloth. Bharat is the real name of a city in India
Oh.
that is known for spices and cloth.
She didn't.
And they too can possibly get malaria there. And I just thought that was not great to do that. Like we talk about how like the like you know
Yeah.
taking things that make it sound like the connate and
Yeah, she's like,
making it
or like it's an
very
actual real spelling and like that's
the actual
weird.
real spelling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was a placeholder and she forgot to change it.
Yeah, maybe. But even still, she's like, oh, I need a place that like kind of feels like India and like has some like Silk Road
So
vibe
where like
to it.
diseases are like, ew, it's not
Yeah.
that great. Not a great.
And I bet
Mm.
you the people are X, Y, and Z, and we're gonna call it Bharat. No, babe, you can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
stop, people, stop doing that.
It's really
Stop
crazy.
making like just stop taking brown and black characters
Exoticizing
and
them.
just taking stereotypes or generalized images of the places in which those people live and saying it's a new society because it's not.
Yeah.
Like you can't we can do better than that. White people can ride camels. Black people can be kings and queens in
Mhm.
fantasy worlds. Like why it's it's fine.
Yeah.
Like
That is always an
let's do
interesting
better.
choice. Yeah. She should have called it like London.
Right. But then it cannot be a land of spice. But yeah. Anyways, so
Yeah,
like
no,
one
I
making a note that like it's not the greatest like writing strategy there and it feels a little lazy and a little orientalist
yeah.
to be like
It's
this
yeah.
far off exotic land of spices and silk. I'm just going to name it the city in India. You're like, "Oh, come on. We're better than that now, aren't we?"
Yeah.
We're not, but we should be. But also
We should be.
for the purposes of the story, now we also know that two family members have traveled to the continent.
Gone to the continent. Um, After, so she's thinking about this, she's thinking about the Bharat, and then it says a ripple of laughter spread across those assembled behind us. And then Rhys was watching me, wreathed in night and smiling faintly. The answer was so close. One little answer, and we could all be free. I just think that's another one of those things. It's like, Rhys. She notices Rhys watching her. He's smiling at her, and then the answer is love, and the answer is so close.
Hmm.
and
Look at
I don't know.
that. I didn't see that. That's clever.
It's funny because I took that from yours. You did that with some other line in a couple chapters ago, and now I'm like I'm noticing it in a lot of places. But I was like, yeah, the answer is right there. It's Rhys. He's your love, and it's almost like he's like trying to get her to
Yeah.
say it. Also, maybe he's smiling, like it says, smiling faintly. Like maybe he's like, oh, she's gonna get it,
Mm-hmm.
and then the spring court will go free.
And then she goes, "Is it typhus?"
Yeah. Oh, maybe he's listening to her thoughts, and she's like, God, she is so off.
That's why he's smiling. He's like, "Oh, we're fucking cooked. We're so done right now." Because he's like, she says this, and he goes, "Well, that's love." And then he looks at Feyre, and she goes, "Is it typhus?"
That's so funny. Yeah, he's like,
He's
I'm
like,
gonna teach you to
"Oh."
fucking read.
He's like, "Oh." He doesn't even know she can't read right now. He's like, "Oh my god, she okay." And then he could be thinking, "The fuck is typhus?" They don't die of typhus here. Be like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, she's such a fucking
Yeah.
human." I love that reading where he's laughing because he's like, "Oh God, we're fucked."
We are fucked. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things that can mean. But oh, and yeah, the last note I have is just that her dreams, her like nightmare. Did you have anything on the page before that though? It's kind of a
Um,
lot, but I was just like,
I
I don't know.
have I have where she thinks about like the conditions of the trial, or what do you mean the last thing for that page, or the whole
Or
chapter?
any of it,
Okay.
because the last thing I have is,
Um,
like, in the last paragraph, so but anything between
I
that.
didn't underline anything about the dream. I have right. Wait, had the conditions of the trial been different from those of the riddle? I'm like, yeah, babe, they are. Um,
Yeah, some blatant foreshadowing.
yeah, not to mention the nagging feeling that she might have wound up tricking me with this bargain, when she emphasized immediately during the riddle, and so I highlighted that. I didn't make any notes for the dream. I don't think that this is a like. I don't think that this is a Rhys dream that she's
No,
feeling. I don't think it's even like any. I think it's just she's
probably
fucking
just a normal
terrified. Yeah, she's
nightmare
just
about being,
scared.
like, seeing, like, "Am I gonna be a ring?" Um,
Yeah, or just like
yeah.
the extent of Amarantha's sadistic cruelty and like what she's able to do to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just it's all scary. It's all scary.
Mhm. I kinda just note, like, almost any dream. Yeah, so, what was my I just thought it was weird in the beginning where she's talking about, like, the crowd and the cacophony and the, like, on the way there, it seems very, like, circus?
Mhm.
I don't know, that was the first thing I kinda noticed here. It felt kind of weirdly energetic. Like, I
It
mean, these people
it
are
did.
being oppressed.
Right, and that was kind of
Eh,
my view
maybe
of a
these are just
lot
the
of.
bad ones, I guess.
I mean, maybe. I mean, it does say like her court, so like maybe there's a lot more allies, but it does feel like everyone's been talking about Amarantha as being this like oppressive force, and that like
Mhm.
nobody likes her and everybody's wanting to get out from under her. But then she goes under the mountain and everybody's well fed and dressed well and cheering against her. And so I think
Yeah.
that there's a lot more support for Amarantha than we think.
Yeah,
Um
and probably those people are just real quiet afterwards. They're like, "Oh, we didn't like her. We hated her."
yeah, I was
You
just
know?
following orders. Yeah.
I think also emphasizing that they're well fed can probably makes it seem like, that the evil is doing well, like it maybe could
Yeah,
be more
could
scary
be.
because it's like, oh wow, these terrible people are prospering and they're fine and yeah.
Yeah,
So, but
that
I'm
could
just,
be.
I guess, yeah, there's probably more supporters and probably, or maybe just the vocal ones get put in the front to sort of like maybe even like try to get people riled, or maybe there's like a lot of people drunk. Do you think it was weird in 35 how the guards were drunk? I was like,
Yeah,
well, who's I mean, maybe she's just has so much control, she's not worried about the guards being drunk, but I'm just
maybe.
like, seems like not what you should do. Anyway, so yeah, my first note was, "Who are these excited bitches?"
Nice. My first note isn't until the next page.
The Corona of Darkness.
No.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, it says around the platform stood a group of six
Oh.
males, secluded from the main crowd. From their cold, beautiful eyes, from that echo of power still about them, I knew that they were the High Lords of Prithian. And I said, "You can feel and or hear their power." It's weird.
Does it say eyes or faces for yours?
Oh,
Cold,
sorry,
beautiful.
faces. Cold and
Okay.
beautiful faces. Sorry.
I was like, "Man, we switched between versions because maybe
Yeah,
you have
no.
the hard copy, maybe she changed it." And I was like, "That would be weird." Okay, but yeah, so yeah, she is sensing that power. A group of 6, who's the 7th? Oh, Tamlin?
Mm-hmm.
So Tamlin's kept away from them.
Yeah, because Tamlin's on the platform with her. I was
Okay,
hauled toward a
gotcha.
wooden platform erected above the crowd. Atop it sat Amarantha and Tamlin.
Okay, okay. And yeah, I mean, the Corona of Darkness, Rhysand, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
just interesting. It just adds kind of texture, and I don't know. I just always note Rhys's descriptions. Um, and
Who would she have asked? I mean, I guess if the whole court is there, she said, "I took the liberty of learning a few things about you. It was only fair you know." And I'm
we
like,
find out on 318 that Rhys is the one who told her that she was a huntress. I think that's what she's referring to.
okay,
Because I said the same thing. I was like, "How? Who's talking?" And then she later, yeah, 318 is when she says, "Rhys
got
told
it.
me you're a huntress and said you would like
Mm-hmm.
this." So I assume that's what she's talking about.
And I guess Feyre just assumes he knows that because he went into her brain that one time.
Yeah,
Like how? I mean, I guess
yeah,
if
but
she
maybe
shot
he
the
actually
wolf.
knows it because he's been getting visions of her.
Mm-hmm.
He saw the wyrm
Yeah,
of rabbits. Uh,
because he was the one who actually shot the wolf.
yeah, that's such a crazy theory.
It's
It's
not a
awesome.
theory. I saw a tweet that SJM commented and said, "Finally, someone found this."
Huh? Wait, what?
Yes. The one where it says, so at the very beginning of this book,
Uh-huh.
when she
Yeah.
is, yeah, when she's like, I didn't want to pull the trigger, but I couldn't control my fingers, and it was,
I fired the ash arrow before he destroyed my. Oh, it's in the dream. In the dream where she's reliving it, Rhys is the one. Something makes her fire it.
yeah, yeah, that she said, I felt a darkness behind me. I didn't dare look, or I felt a shadow behind me. I didn't dare look. I didn't want to shoot it, but I had no control over my fingers. And then she just said, and then it let like it just stared. It just stared.
So page 6 is where the original encounter with the wolf
Mm-hmm.
was. I don't see the shadow there.
I'm in color and darkness world, eddying my vision mixed with the snow.
Okay, on page 101.
Thank you.
Um, this is her. Wait, I think it's a dream. It's in italics. Bottom of 101. Yeah, snow is falling thick and merciless, already up to my knees. I pulled the bowstring back further and further until my arm trembled. Behind me, a shadow lurked, no, watched. I didn't dare turn to look at it to see who might be within that shadow, observing not as the wolf stared at me across the clearing, just staring, as if waiting, as if daring to me to fire the ash arrow. No, no, I didn't want to do it. Not this time. Not again. Not. But I had no control over my fingers, absolutely none, and he was still staring as I fired. Um, that's the dream. The actual scene on page 6 does not have the mention of the shadow, but
But
I
it
still like the
does. It does.
on page 6?
Yes.
Am I just missing it?
He looked with a sort of awareness and surprise that made me fire a second arrow. So she's already hit him. And afterwards it says he collapsed to the ground, color and darkness world, eddying my vision mixed with the snow.
Oh, the darkness swirling? That's what you're saying is Rhys?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that and yeah, that's hmm. Hmm. As Sham comment on this line or the
Mm-mm.
shadow in the dream
The
line?
shadow in the dreamline.
Mm.
She just commented with somebody, like, finally somebody found this.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. Well, the Reese being like sort of present all the time is like very present.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I like yeah, I sort of like the symbolic resonance that he like, yeah, even though this sucks, I want you to shoot him again because that's how I get to see you. Um
Yeah.
even though I'm sure he feels guilty, but interesting.
I think if I can find it because I've seen it. Yeah, it's right here. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't have anything for a long time. I do have the command hunt this because I thought that
Oh,
Feyre was trying to run away for a minute and not actually hunt it. Because then she turns, she's like, "Fine, you want me to hunt? I'll hunt." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's how you win this trial. You
huh.
don't can't run away
Well, I
from it."
think yeah. I actually had something on 317 really quick.
Yeah.
Every instinct, every bit of me that was intrinsically human screamed to run. And that's just another one of those moments where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
there are parts of you that aren't human. What?
Yeah.
What are we talking about, girl? Anyway, and there's more serpent description for Amarantha somewhere on
Mm-hmm.
this page, which I just it's on 318 top.
Mm-hmm.
Smiling that serpent's grin, which again, maybe it's just like that's a traditional scary image,
Yeah.
but it's a consistent at this point, it's like multiple times characterized like that, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I also had just the last time I reread this, I was fresh off Crescent City, so I was thinking about who the fuck is the Viper Queen, and I was like Viper
Fair.
Serpent, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't think they're related, but I was on that kind of track.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm still like, what is the Viper? Like maybe she's just a random person. She seems too powerful. She
Mm-hmm.
seems like I don't know. And Amarantha kind of seems kind of weirdly like, where do these people get this kind of shit from? Like, I don't know. Also, I thought it was really of Feyre to kinda to bare her teeth at her.
Yeah.
That maybe it's just whatever, but I'm like, that's not natural. That feels like a Fae thing,
Yeah, I definitely
to do
noted.
that.
Where is that on?
Oh, it says on 317 in the middle, it says, "I ground my teeth and almost exposed them to her."
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, yeah. But, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, a lot of this trial, it's not like it's just so much action. There's not like, oh, in this metaphor and this metaphor. It's
Yeah.
just sort of like beat by beat. But, I
I did. So on page 320, she says, "Not like this," and I keep thinking, didn't Aelin have thoughts like that? Like when she was almost being killed by Cain, wasn't she like, "This is how I die, not like this"? And then I think
Um,
there's a couple of other moments when Aelin has that, like, "This can't be it. This isn't how I go."
yes, they all Feyre says it several times.
Mhm.
Uh, Feyre says it during the Naga encounter
Mhm.
on 134. That's the one that I thought could have been a Rhys saying that because it's disconnected. This one is in the same paragraph, which makes it seem like it's in her head or it's
Mhm.
her thought. But yeah, it's also in right here. And then yeah, but and then no, so Selena Hale tells her get up in the same
Mhm.
kind of like it's the same vibe as not like this, but it's get up, and then Aelin is you do not yield.
Mhm.
Nesta also has never again. That's Nesta's
Mhm.
one. So they do. I noticed that there's this kind of, and maybe it's just like okay, people have tough trials and people encourage them. Maybe it's not nothing, but I did sort of wrote it down as like a little list of like there's like these mantras or things that people hear
Mhm.
because a lot of them are like a disembodied voice in their head or something
Mhm.
like not for Selena with the get up, but the Nesta and Feyre, they both seem like it's like on a line by itself, italicized, and I'm
Mhm.
like, you could make an argument that this is the mother. That was one of my original theories,
Yeah.
is that it was the fate or someone trying to keep them going. I like the idea that it's like Rhys here.
Mhm.
But I don't know. That was a long-winded answer. Um Yeah, so we get dropped into the maze by the Ator, and she's like, "Fucking hunt." Did I have any? Yeah, and people are betting on her, and then yeah, it's just like a lot of like running,
Yeah, she's
and
well, and then when she's like, "If Amarantha wanted me to hunt, I would hunt," because before that, she's just like, "It could
I think
work.
she was
It could
still.
work if I played it right. It could work because it had to work. I dropped back into the mud and the fairies." Yeah, okay, so before that, but like she's just trying to get her way out of this place first, right? So she's trying to climb
Yeah,
up, and I keep thinking that this is like once she climbs up, she's like out of the area, but I think it just means she's out of that spot. She's not out of the whole
yeah.
thing.
I the first part, I think she just wasn't thinking about hunting yet because she's just literally thinking that she had to get away, and
Mhm.
because she doesn't know it's blind yet, she's like, "It sees me, I gotta run," and then so that I think it's mostly just to serve. Like, not thinking about the hunting is really just to serve that fear, and then, like, also, like because once she says, "If Amarantha wants me to hunt, I'm gonna hunt," the tone kinda shifts, and it's like, "Oh, now is the fun part where we're gonna show 'em what's up."
I was just a
Um,
little confused by, like, the levels of this area, right? Because she's on the
yes.
platform with Amarantha, then the Ator takes her down, and then
Uh-huh.
she's in the den, and then she's
Which
crawling out of
yeah.
that, and so, like, is the den on the same level of the whole like, is the labyrinth all one level that's that 20 feet down, or is the
No,
den a
I think
lower
that
spot?
it has parts, like I
Yeah.
mean, they clearly had to build this into the thing then. So they must in that month they must have been like digging this out or something. And so I just assumed that the den starts is like there's a hole or like a there's an entrance to it in the maze and then
Mhm.
it goes down. And then the maze is on a level, and then everyone else is above, basically.
Okay.
Um,
So I'm not gonna get
yeah,
to my
it's a little hard for me to follow some of these action sequences. They're,
yeah,
like,
and
so much more.
I'm not gonna go into my question yet because I wanna track the stage here so I'm not crazy when I ask this question, but we have the Ator takes her into it. There's lots of running around so far.
Mhm,
And then she manages to find herself in the den, right?
mhm,
She's already figured out that I was so surprised that I didn't notice the enormous pit that had opened before me, hidden by a slight rise. Okay, so she falls further into a pit. Slams
mhm.
ankle deep. Um, I was trapped, gasping for breath, yada yada. Pit itself opened into a small dark tunnel, but there's no way to climb up. I was trapped. Kept scrambling away. Her tailbone hurts.
And then she feels the
She
bone.
feels the bone. So she's fallen into this pit and then she's kind of scooted back into like a little alcove of the pit.
Mhm. Yeah, and they can't see her, so that's
Hmm.
why Amarantha's like, "Come out." Um,
She tries scaling the walls. That's not working. So then she grabs the bone, starts making a ladder.
mhm, and,
And then that's when.
yeah, it's actually a quicker scene than I thought. In my head, this takes a long time, but it's actually, like, kind of just a couple pages. Um, but yeah, and then she makes
When
her
does she
trap.
realize that it's blind?
Well, but she's already realized it, I
Yeah.
think. Wait. So top of 321 before
Mhm.
okay. I would it was blind. I was so surprised I didn't notice the enormous pit. So literally right before she falls in the pit, she
Yeah.
realizes it's blind.
So she's in
Um
this pit, she's trying to get out of the pit, and then she comes up with this plan.
yes, when she feels the bone and
But she tries to make a ladder to get out of the pit first, and while she's making the ladder, that's when she's like, "Oh wait, this'll work. This'll work."
yeah, she's like I
So
can
sh
make
so
like
she
stabbies.
yeah, so
And then
she
snaps the bones in half, sticks them in the mud so that they're
mhm,
facing up. So it's like
a trap.
yeah, a pit with sharp stabbies.
So she's trying to climb up. She realizes that she has a plan now. She jumps down. She lays the trap, the bone traps, the
Yeah.
spears, the spikes, and then she climbs back up.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
she climbs back up. So she's on like a higher level, so she can see Amarantha again, right? And that's when she covers herself in mud.
Well, I think she covers herself in the shit that's in the lair,
Yeah, yeah,
so I
yeah.
think but she covers herself in mud then. I also like how she just throughout is using the things people are saying to like come up with all these plans. Like,
Yeah. I
okay,
dashed to my bone ladder and ignored the stinging of splinters as my finger in my fingers as I climbed to the third rung, where I balanced before embedding the fourth bone in the wall. And just like that, I heaved myself out of the pit mouth and almost wept to be exposed to the open air once more.
oh yeah, she does get out.
I secured the three bones I'd taken in my belt, their weight a comforting presence, blah, 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 blah. Then she starts coating herself in the mud.
Oh,
I rubbed mud on me until I was certain there was nothing more than a pair of blue gray eyes. I doused myself a final times. My hands were so slick. I don't know if I can fucking hold things anymore. And then, of course, I underline this because we get this in chapter 54 later. Um, what what's it doing? I love they keep saying it. What's it doing?
yeah.
A green faced fairy whined out. A deep, elegant voice replied this time. She's building a trap. Resand. But the middengard relies on scent to see, Rhys answers, and I gave a special glower for him as I glanced at the rim of the trench and found him smiling at me, and Feyre just became invisible. His violet eyes twinkled. I made an obscene gesture before I broke into a run, heading straight for the worm.
Hmm. I do love that moment. It's a very like
Mm-hmm.
it's like one of those first like nice moments between them, kind of. It's her best painting yet. So I couldn't help myself.
That's amazing. I placed the remaining bones at especially tight corners, knowing well enough that I couldn't run at the speed.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, because
I
when you run really fast around a corner, that if you actually take it with just your feet, you have to slow down to turn. Whereas this way, she can like hold on to it and hoist herself around.
that's right. She does describe that later,
Mm-hmm.
actually. Okay. Yeah. So she makes little things. Um, and very symbolic. Her blood is the bait.
Okay, but okay. Here's my question:
Hmm.
she's in the pit. The worm is not in the pit with her. She
Yeah.
climbs up, comes up with a plan, goes back into the pit where the worm is not at. She lays her trap, climbs back up, covers herself so that the worm can't smell her, and then immediately cuts her hand so it can smell her.
Yeah, I think she goes towards it
I mean, I guess
first.
she gets like around
Yeah.
it, figures out where it's at, and is trying to like lure it a certain way.
Mhm.
So, like, maybe, yes, she became invisible so she can do the things. But I
She
was
wants it
also,
to get going fast enough so it falls. Yeah.
but I'm also like, why did you have to cover yourself if it already wasn't in the pit for you to be able to lay the trap? Then why'd you have to climb
Maybe
up?
so she could sneak up on it.
I guess.
So it makes her like when she goes up to it, she will be invisible. And then when
Yeah.
she wants to be visible because she wants it to chase her, that's
And
when she uses
okay,
her
in a
blood.
certain direction.
Yeah, maybe. Doesn't it almost doesn't work though because it just apparently smells her blood and goes, "Hell yeah," and just
Yeah, and
fucking
bust through the
bolts through
walls
the
and shit.
maze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, Lucian is a very pivotal what if Lucian just didn't just he got beat up for that, I'm pretty sure,
I think
by
so.
Amarantha. Or Watch. I think that's why he couldn't heal her the second time because Amarantha was like, "You're in
Yeah.
trouble." um, but that's one of those really iconic moments.
Yeah, so it says I eased around the bend, craning my neck, too covered in its scent for it to smell me. So like, if she's there and she's being invisible, so okay,
Mhm.
maybe there was a point to it, but I don't know that it's as necessary as we're being made to think. The worm continued feasting, stretching its bulbous form upwards to one of the fairies. Blah 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 blah. I recoiled around the bend and raised the bone sword I'd made. I reminded myself of the path I'd taken in the turn. So she's like, okay,
Mhm.
now it's time. Still, my heart lodged in my throat as I drew the jagged edge of the bone across my palm, splitting it open. Blood welled bright and shining as rubies. I let it build before clenching my hand into the fist. The worm would smell it soon enough. It was only then that I realized the crowd had gone silent. Almost dropping the bone, I leaned around the bend again to see the worm, and it was gone. So the blue fairies probably like saw her coming and like chucked the arm somewhere else so that the worm would go a different direction, maybe, or they see it coming and stalking her, and they're like, "Ha, it's gonna get you."
I think they
Um,
can see that yeah, I think the
because
arm, they didn't do anything to make the worm go. I think once it smelled the blood,
it
it
started to,
left
yeah.
the what they were offering it, and then yeah.
And then Lucian screams at her to your left, and she goes, "Which one's Al?"
She knows her rights and left. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's a very cinematic moment. It's like I think the pace, I think this scene is actually one of the more well done scenes. Um, because I feel like you can actually see a lot of it. Some things are confusing, but like most of it, I'm much more confused by that scene in Aquawar when they go to the Hybern camp and save
Yes.
Elaine. That one, I'm like, what is happening? And there's wolves biting feet.
Yep.
What? How are you're in the air? Like I just never can understand that. And I just someone's got to animate it. I can
I
never
don't
get
know
it.
why I have
This
it
I
like
can
this
see,
in
but
my
I'm
head.
not
I
sure
have
others.
it like imagine on top of like imagine it being like kind of the top of like a mesa style mountain. So it's like
Yeah.
barren and flat, and then it's like an encampment on top of this with like torches and people and bustling and whatever. And they sneak in and they're like running down the straight line because they're just going to jump off the side of this mountain, right? With Az. And I imagine Tam comes in, and do you know when you scare a cat and it just like in the air?
Yeah.
That's what I imagine that Tam is
Okay.
doing. That he just like and it
Yeah.
goes crazy, and then they jump and he just looks at her like, oh, you got away. um
Well, he like gives her a push. She like, is gonna like not make it, and Tamlin pushes her, and then
yeah,
that gets her to. But that's what doesn't make sense to me. Is like, what is he? But I don't really care. I just go, okay, they saved him. Whatever.
yeah.
Like that's all
Does
I ever
she
think of.
fly herself? Does she bust out her wings for that?
That's what I can't remember.
We'll get there.
Maybe,
um
yeah.
the mouth of the pit loomed, and with a final prayer I leaped. There was only open black air reaching up to swallow me. Which, like, yeah, she's jumping into a dark
Hmm.
area, but interesting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I missed that one. Um, yeah, so I guess she jumps right in the trap to where it's the spears aren't, and then
Hmm.
she rolls out of the way. Whereas the worm's not so coordinated. Um, oh, sorry. The next thing I have is like I thought like after she kind of realizes it's dead, um, and then on 327 it says, "But the moment I beheld Amarantha on her platform at the edge of the trench, I clenched my free hand, prove my love. Pain shot through my arm, but I embraced it. I had won." I don't. I just thought it was weird, a weird line, but it's also not like one of those disembodied voices. I don't know, but maybe it's just
Hmm.
like she's just having a realization. But
I have one above that.
mm,
Silently, still beyond words, I stumbled back through the labyrinth, my left arm throbbing, but my body tingled so much I didn't notice. Now, it could be adrenaline, right? But also, Rhys stole the pain for Claire.
yeah, like is he helping her out right now? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, maybe she would feel it in her mind. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah,
And her, so which hand is her free hand right now?
her right hand, I think. No, I think it's the blood hand because I think she throws with her non-cut hand.
Mm-hmm.
So she's holding the bone in
In her
her
right
non-cut
hand.
hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is very Fey like to me when it says, I looked at her from beneath lowered brows and didn't check myself as I exposed my teeth.
Yeah, that is the line I was thinking of.
That's
She
animalistic
is
as fuck. That's
yeah,
Faye. That's he growled.
so Fey. Yeah, Tamlin, my Tamlin.
Yeah, but I don't think it's my Tamlin in like my Tamlin. I think it's my Tamlin. Like she's pissed.
Territorial Fey bastards, huh?
Yeah. Uh huh. Yep.
Um, I also thought it was funny that she wants to rip her throat out, or she says that in her, or she
Mm-hmm.
thinks that, because that's what will happen to
Yeah.
Amarantha. Uh, and do you think she was trying to hit Amarantha when she threw the bone right here?
No, I
She's
think
just
she's.
trying to
I
scare
think
her,
yeah.
like splatter her, embarrass
I think
her.
she's
Yeah,
trying to like I think she's like throwing it in her face. Like
yeah.
you think you know, or like
Mhm.
when she says prove my love, like she thinks this is ridiculous. She's like fuck you. Like that
Yeah,
was bullshit and I still won.
yeah. Yep. And then yeah, and then she reads who bet on Feyre. Such a literal and metaphorically.
Well, but like also, I suppose you'll be happy to learn most of my court lost a good deal of money tonight, she said, picking up a piece of parchment paper. And I'm assuming that that's all the bets, right?
Mhm.
I looked at Tamlin as he scanned the paper. His green eyes were bright, and though his face was deathly pale, I could have sworn there was a ghost of triumph on his face. What does he see? What is the ghost of. Oh, because of how much they lost, you think?
No, I don't think it's related. I think it's actually like things are Amarantha's now kind of talking about other things and sort of business is moving on, and he's like now
Oh,
he
as
can
she
like
scanned the paper. Got it. Okay, sorry.
yeah, he's
I
just
read
thinking
it
about
as
other
he
things.
scanned the paper because I can't read. Um,
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. No, I think he's just proud of her and vaguely shows it.
mhm.
Um
And just one person said you would win, and of course we know it's Rhys, even though she doesn't say it outright.
yeah. Yeah, she's like she doesn't say it right then. She's actually pissed. She's like she frowned at the list, she waved her hand, take her away. And then she's like, Rhys, come here. It's very like
Mhm.
teacher, take you aside. Um,
Well, and I think that like that's how we know that that's who it was, right? Because like even though it's all Feyre POV, right? But she clinched so the Amarantha, she clinched the arm of her throne hard enough that the whites of her knuckles showed. Rhys and come here.
oh, we don't find out that Rhys bet on her. Probably, I think he tells her in the
I
next
think so
scene,
too.
maybe, or we definitely know by the next book. But that is so funny.
Hmm.
Uh, Sorry, go ahead.
That was it.
Oh, yeah. I just thought it was so funny how she's like so mad that Rhys bet on her.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, and again, it speaks to like the hints of distrust and disloyalty, right? Of all the people in her court to bet that she would win, not just that she would last 12 minutes, but that she would win was Rhys. And we see this like weird, like kind of coldness of Rhys being like, I don't know, she lied to me. You get the information, right? And being you told me that this was her. And he's like, all humans look alike. And like just the falseness and like the tone that they talk to each other in, it does not have loyal
no.
written on it at
And
all.
maybe this is the first moment, like, maybe he's usually more, like, complicit because maybe it's not so directly maybe he's usually kind of more plays ball, and so maybe she's like, "Why are you being like this?" I also kinda wonder, like, Rhys bet on her, and I kinda think I don't know, part of me is like, I'm sure Amarantha is suspicious that maybe he, like, helped Favor out secretly or something
Hmm.
like that, because we know he does that in the second task, right?
Yeah.
But also I'm like, a lot of the things she got now I do like that this could just be her, she's just smart, and she used him as deduction. She is, you know, she has her drawbacks, maybe not a good painter, she can't read, but she is smart, and,
Hmm.
so I like the idea that she's just using deduction, but I also wonder if maybe Reese is like, "How am I gonna get revealed to her that, this happens?" And he makes some people shout some stuff out or something.
Hmm.
I kinda don't like that because it sort of cheapens Feyre's ingenuity here,
Well,
so
and then
maybe
it puts
not.
too much
But
on Reese too, and people are
yeah,
always like,
and how
not
do you
every
get people to
shadow is
say word
Reese,
for
but
word?
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I do think that Amarantha probably rightfully is like,
I
"Did you
think
did you
Amarantha
help her?"
I think that Amarantha and Rhysand's relationship is probably not one where she thinks that he has full loyalty. I think that she's skeptical
Mhm.
of him probably from the get, the same way that Maeve is skeptical of the people who have blood oaths to her. where she's like,
Yeah.
I don't need you to be loyal. I know that you do these things because I make you do them and because you do certain things really well and I can force you to do those things. You get a few more privileges. But don't think for a minute that I think that you care about me
Yeah.
and that you
Yeah.
don't think I'm a monster. Like I
That's
think that
totally
that's and
seems
so
like that
there's some
vibe.
of that like already like he can have some open animosity towards her because he knows that she already is not going to think that he's loyal, but rather that he's like, you took my power, what am I supposed to do? Like
Mhm.
I'm oathed to you in some way, right? And not in like in the same way because it was a trick, but that you have this, you know, this vice grip around me and I'm willing to at least keep you interested in my safety because I provide an additional service that you enjoy. And so that buys me a few freedoms. But in reality, she's probably like, I still fucking hate you too. You just happen to give good head.
Yeah.
It's also very
Yeah.
Maeve like. You know, Maeve makes Fenrir do this, right?
Really?
Yeah. So after when Maeve kills
I thought
his
it's his twin.
so his yes, so his twin is who she made do it, and she was like, he joined because his brother had already done the thing, and then his brother was like kind of pissed about it, and that his brother was servicing is how it's talked about. His brother was servicing her, and she never came to Fenrir because or Fenris whatever because his
Mhm.
brother made it to where she wouldn't. But when she kills his brother and she cuts his head off or cuts his throat, and she makes him kneel down in the blood of his brother and service her.
Oh, I thought she just makes him kneel down and, like, beg or something.
Mm-mm.
Because I do remember the discussion of that. I didn't think it was that.
Pretty sure it's that.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, Amarantha is, like, yeah. Maeve seems more more Amarantha seems like small potatoes compared to Maeve, but,
She does.
um, yeah, it's still kinda interesting. She always seemed like she was both too big and too small of a role in this series,
Hmm.
you know, because she's, like, so fucked, but also she's just in one little book. But
Yeah.
she does have a I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. It's so interesting that, like, some of the most action-packed chapters are just, like it's, like, almost harder to pull stuff out of or whatever.
It is, but I think it's because we don't get as much internal dialogue, right? And
Yeah.
like, although there are some scenes, so like when I was reading the Throne of Glass scene, the fight scene with Cain, there's
Oh,
so
I
much.
bet because he's using, like, weird magic
Well, and every
and,
time he
like
presses her face against that clock tower, that is, she sees. I mean, that along with the
yeah.
bloodbane that's in her blood, she sees into the other world because that tower is a gate.
It's so I forgot about a lot of that.
There's
That's
oh
so
my god, there's so
interesting.
much I'm so excited to talk about at some point. But
Dude.
yeah, there's a lot. Um Also, I know that sapphire is blue
Mhm.
and does not necessarily violet, but I'm very intrigued to think about whether or not Rhys and Dorian have very similar eyes.
Is Dorian's eyes described as sapphire?
Sapphire every time. Deep
Well,
sapphire, bright
violet
sapphire.
is just meant to be, like, blue, right? And their
But
son,
isn't
Nyx,
violet
is
purple?
that's what I always thought, but everyone like because people were like, "Why does Nyx have blue eyes?" And everyone in the like, there's this sort of discourse like I don't know a year ago or like a while ago where people were like, "No, she just means a very intense blue when she says violet. It doesn't actually mean violet." And I was like, "Oh, I was saying that literally," but
Yeah.
then I was like, "That makes sense. Why Nyx would have blue eyes?" But it could also
But
be that violet is close to blue, so maybe it's like it's a lineage, but it's obviously like there's some distance. So I can see kind of either.
also they don't know where Dorian dye color came from.
Huh?
Eh, yeah,
What do you mean?
it says like he says like he doesn't look anything like his dad at all. Like there's no resemblance at all, and that his sapphire eyes are different than his parents. No one knows where his sapphire eyes came from.
How do I not remember this shit? What the fuck?
Mhm. Mhm.
God,
Mhm.
that is so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta.
I
Mm.
remember at the end of Throne of Glass being like, Dorian's a good character. I like him. But I wasn't like, he wasn't like book boyfriend level for me. Like, I wasn't ever just like, oh,
I was like,
Dorian,
why
my.
are people obsessed with him? I don't get it. That's how I
So
felt. I
I'm
was like,
rereading
he's
it
cool.
and I'm like trying to kind of dig a little bit deeper for him, and I'm really worried that it's gonna get lost again in the middle where I'm just like, what is he doing? But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
I
enjoy
think actually people like him because of his line to Manon, but I was like, is that
I think they also like him because of his
it?
line to Kale. When Kale finds out that she's Fae, I think he's like, you can't choose what parts of her you love.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, my man.
Yeah.
Also, he's not afraid of menstruating women because he's not a bitch like Kale. Kale's like, oh, you're on your period. God, I gotta get out of here. And he like literally runs away, blushing like a
Oh, I don't
fucking
remember that either.
noob. And then literally like the next scene, like Dorian knocks on her door and like brings her fucking snackies or some shit. And he's just like, Kale told
Snackies.
me about your condition. And she's like, don't make fun of me. And he's like, get up. Come on.
He's
Like,
like, yeah, it
let's
only
get down.
comes
Like,
twice a year
and
because
he
you're
like,
Fae.
well, it doesn't. It says monthly cycle.
Yeah, because she's in
Because
human form right
she's
now, so you
trapped in
can't.
her human form. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That would be
yeah.
a perk of being Fae, though. Although
Can you
it's
imagine if he said that shit?
yeah, right.
He's like, you've only had 2 of these this year.
She's like, yeah, where all
She
these
shut
other
up.
human women get to like do this, expel this energy every 6 months. It's built up for 6 months. I got to expel all of it.
God.
Mhm.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Okay, so to the stars who listen, we will see you next week.
See you next week.